Hey guys, Raider here. Hope you're all doing great and having a fantastic day. In this video, we're going to be taking a detailed look at the Samsung Galaxy Tab S8 Ultra book cover keyboard. Oh, that's a mouthful. Let's start off with the price. So here in the US, this goes for $349. For those of you that pre-ordered it, you get it included for free. I've had this for about a week, so I've been using it quite a bit. It's been working out quite well. We have a big upgrade in packaging this year to start off with. As you can see here, here's the new packaging compared to what we got in the previous generation. That's definitely a plus. Let's talk about the features real quick. This is an 80 key keyboard with 16 of those keys dedicated to the function row. We have a glass-coated touchpad. We have function and caps lock indicators, and we can also lock the function keys. We have 4-level backlighting: off, level 1, level 2, and then the brightest setting, level 3. In addition to that, many of the function keys provide shortcuts to your favorite apps, along with many of the system features such as adjusting your volume and your brightness and accessing decks. You also have the ability to turn the touchpad on and off if you just want to use a keyboard on its own. The dimensions of the keyboard are as follows: 12 3/4 inches wide, or 32.8 centimeters wide. We have 8 1/4 inches tall up to the end of the deck, 21 centimeters tall. The touchpad width is 4.5 inches, 11.5 centimeters. The touchpad height is 3 inches, 7 centimeters, and the touchpad diagonally is 5 inches and 12.8 centimeters. I wasn't able to find a specific weight for both the kickstand and the keyboard yet. If I do, I will drop it down in the description, so please take a look for it there. And before we go any further, let's take a look at the back part of this, because this is a 2-piece keyboard, which also has a stand. So we'll move this out of the way real quick. You'll see here that we have a stand that attaches, which also has a storage area for your S Pen, which is great, so you don't have to worry about losing it. The keyboard attaches via 3 prongs on the bottom and has 2 supporting plastic prongs, and features a very premium look and feel. All right, what I want to do next real quick is compare this to a regular size keyboard, something you might be familiar with, so we're all on the same page as to how big this is if you're not familiar with it. So I have here the Samsung Galaxy Book Pro 360. This has been on the channel a few times. Let's scoot this over. We'll get it into view. I have to scoot everything over here. You can see the decks are very similar in size. And also, if we take the keyboard and actually compare it to this one, you will see that if we line up the keys, put them here, this keyboard actually goes a little bit wider than the Galaxy Book Pro 360. You see that we're going almost halfway into the numpad on the 360, which is great. That means these keys are actually spaced out a little bit wider, and it really does have a nice feel. It's very spacious. So if you're used to working on a laptop type keyboard, you're going to feel right at home. It feels great with it. The things that I really like about this keyboard is that it's quite lappable. And what I mean by that is that unlike the Tab S7 Plus one or other smaller keyboards, I find this to be a lot easier to use in the lap because it kind of spreads a little bit wider. I really like the premium feel of this. It does have a nice feel. The glass-coated trackpad is really nice. As mentioned, 4-level backlighting on here, and we have shortcuts. And my favorite part about the whole thing really is probably the functionality of the kickstand. This has a very nice hinge. It stays exactly where you want it, and it makes it to where you can take your tablet anywhere, and it's ready for you to prop up in pretty much any position. And there's a lot that you can do with that. Let me demonstrate real quick. We'll move this out of the way, try to keep it in view. But you can also hold it with your fingers. It really helps distribute the weight a lot more, and it gives you options for holding it in portrait mode too. I think I mentioned that in a couple other videos as well. So it really does offer a lot of flexibility to the tablet. It opens up a lot of doors as far as how you can manipulate it, what you want to do with it, and how you hold it. And it's also very comfortable to sit on your lap, say you're sitting cross-legged or Indian style, or you're just chilling, you have your legs up or whatever on the couch. This makes it to where you rest it just right on your legs, and it's very comfortable due to the width. You know, it kind of spans your legs, it spans your body, and that's important when you have a device this big. You want it to be able to sit on you comfortably and still remain stable. Before we continue on, I do want to get a couple cons out of the way real quick, and they're not really that big a deal. I took a little heat in the unboxing video from one that I'm about to mention. And then another one is kind of just the nature of the beast, and you'll see what I mean. So let's talk about the one that I mentioned in the unboxing video. And that is, when you detach the keyboard from the back kickstand and the tablet itself, the bottom right here on this edge remains completely exposed. Because remember, you have it at an angle, so that angle Let me show you here. The angle causes it to where this edge right here, this sharp knife edge, rests on whatever surface, because the back plate that magnetically attaches falls short about 1 millimeter. So it doesn't quite go all the way down to where it catches on the surface. So just be mindful of that. I'll show you what I do real quick. This is what I've been doing since I've had it. I take the Tab S8 Ultra box and I just rest it on this when I'm not using the keyboard. That way I can slide the box around. It's not going to hurt anything. I'm just messing with the box, and the box is nice and smooth. So I suppose that's a use case for the packaging that it comes in. Another thing that's worth mentioning, but again, it's not a big deal, and it's to be expected for something that's so thin and made of these type of materials, you know, this smooth type of pleatherette type material, and that is, well, you'll just hear it for yourself. Let me get my mic up a little closer. We flip it upside down. This does it on the Tab S7 Plus keyboard as well. Not quite as easy because it's not as wide. And we can show that real quick. Here's the S7 Plus one. Takes a little more pressure to engage it, but it is there as well. Again, that's to be expected on something this thin with these materials. But I do want you guys to know that this only happens when you're forcing up from the bottom, like this. When you're pushing down here like this, you see that? It's not doing anything. So when you're resting it flat on your legs, you're going to be pushing down. You're going to be applying top force. You're going to have very few accidental clicks when you're actually using it like you normally would. I just want to bring this to your attention in case you haven't used one of these before and you're not sure of what you're getting. Just be aware, you're going to notice this. You'll easily notice it with 2 hands. I mean, you could sit here and play a song with it. You're not hurting anything by doing this. It's just doing an accidental click on the bottom. You're going to hear it because it's just such a thin keyboard. There's one other negative I've been seeing on Reddit, and as well as a couple of the Samsung reviews on their website. So what folks are saying is that if you press the same letter twice, like the number 7 over and over and over again, there's a lag, or the letter G or A. So let's go ahead and just test this out real quick. So I've got Word up with just some scribble scrabble up on the screen. Let me press enter a couple times. I made the text pretty big so you guys can see it. So I'm going to go ahead and hold on to the number 7 here. We'll just press it multiple times in a row. I'll put a couple spaces. Now I'm going to press and hold it. Okay. And I'll just do a couple other keys too. G, C, 5. I mean, they're saying they press it multiple times and there's an input delay between each press. I'm just not seeing it. If any of you guys are experiencing an input lag, please let me know which applications are impacted for you in the comments, because I'm just not able to duplicate it. So when you do see those online, just keep in mind that I'm not able to duplicate the error. Maybe maybe I'm lucky. Maybe some folks got a bad unit. I'm not too sure, but it seems to work fine for me. All right, and that's really all the cons that I have with it. It does work pretty great. All right, guys, so next up, I want to walk you through some of the settings. It's nice to visit these the first time you use this keyboard so we can adjust your trackpad, overall sensitivity, things of that nature. And we'll also go over some of the advanced functionality that you're not going to find via the function keys alone. All right, let's get started. Pull down the notification panel at the settings wheel. You're going to scroll down until you get to General Management. The first setting that I recommend you visit is the mouse and trackpad options. The first option is for pointer speed. This will allow you to adjust how slow or how fast your pointer moves while you're moving it across the screen. The default is fairly slow. I turned it up. Set it to whatever floats your boat. We also have pointer size and color. You can also reverse the touchpad scrolling direction. You can customize the 3-finger gestures. Default is to go back. And if we go back to General Management, we can click on Physical Keyboard. We can take a quick look at all the keyboard shortcuts, which are also available via the F1 key. You can change your language. And there's also a feature to share your keyboard, which will allow you to use your keyboard and trackpad with another Samsung device. Before we exit the settings, I did want to mention one thing that's been talked about quite a bit, and that is with the book cover keyboard, a lot of folks are having issues doing spell check, to where you're getting the squiggly lines and the recommended suggestions when you misspell a word while using the book cover keyboard. And that is an inherent problem with these book cover keyboards. I know Samsung's looking to address this. And in some apps, it does work automatically. Of course, like if you're in Microsoft Word, you have autocorrect. And if you're in the search bar, it's gonna find your errors and fix them. But but it's more like, let's say you're leaving a YouTube comment or some other area where you don't have autocorrect. Well, here's a quick workaround is you can go to the Play Store and download the Microsoft SwiftKey keyboard, and once installed, it'll become one of your available keyboard options. You'll find it in General Management, Keyboard List and Default. You'll click on that. And the default keyboard is going to be your Samsung keyboard. So once you have SwiftKey installed, you can go ahead and switch to it. Okay, there we go. And if we scroll down to it in our list of keyboards, and we don't mess with the on-off toggle, but we just click on the name itself, all right, that's going to pull up some options that are specific to the Microsoft SwiftKey keyboard that we don't have on the Samsung keyboard. And one of those important ones is under typing. You're going to go down here, physical keyboard. Adjust the settings for your physical keyboard. These settings do not affect your on-screen keyboard. So you can go here, and here you have options for autocorrect, quick prediction insert, smart punctuation, with the ability to automatically show and hide the virtual keyboard, which will pop up with your recommendations when you make a spelling error. So it's not the most elegant of solutions, but it is a workaround to get you through it until the permanent fix does come out for the book cover itself. All right, guys, now I dim the lights and I want to show you the different levels of backlighting. This is off, level 1, level 2, and level 3. All right, guys, now let's take a look at some of the basic functionality to help you get the most out of this keyboard. We have 16 different function keys. By default, in order to access these different functions, such as, let's say, your brightness, up and down, you have to press function and the actual brightness up and down keys. You can get around that though. You can go ahead and press and hold the function key. This takes about 4 seconds. You'll see that it's now lit up. And if we press the brightness keys, you'll see the function row is now locked. This is the same as pressing function and F12 on a Windows PC. This is very handy, especially if you constantly use your audio and brightness controls. Another item worth mentioning too is that you can assign 3 specific app shortcuts. So let me show you how this works. You press function app 1, no app assigned to this key. Okay, so the way we do that is we just pull up an app, any app. So I can go ahead and let's just open up the Play Store. Now that we have this app open and it's focused on the screen, whatever app has focus, this is going to happen to it. We're going to press function and F1 and we're going to hold it. Just hold it for about 3 seconds and then let off it. Now if I press function and F1, which we use to assign the Play Store to, there we go, we have the Play Store. So you can pick your 3 favorite apps and have quick access to them. All right, let's go over some of the gestures real quick. To pull down your notifications, you're going to swipe down with 2 fingers and swipe back up to get out of your notifications. To view your app drawer, you're going to swipe up with 2 fingers and then back down. To pull up your recent apps, you're going to swipe up with 3 fingers, then back down to go to your home screen. If you have more than one app open, you can swipe between them left and right by taking 3 fingers and just swiping. It'll swipe between all the open apps that you have, every window, and you can go back and forth. To get back home, there you go. Those are your basic gestures to get around. One other way to get familiar with all the different shortcuts is go ahead and press the F1 key. That's going to pull up this list of keyboard shortcuts. Now I'll put a couple graphics on the screen. These are a couple pictures out of the Samsung manual for the book cover keyboard. And you'll take a look here and you'll see that it talks about some of the function shortcuts we already talked about. And you'll also see a list here of the gestures. Go ahead and take screenshots of these for reference. So in conclusion, I do recommend this combination, this kickstand / keyboard, if you can get it at a good price. You know, $349 US is a very steep price, but we should see this go down to half price at least a couple times this year, just like Samsung did for the Tab S7 Plus keyboard, as well as the Tab S6 keyboard. So that would be great to see it go down to $175, but nonetheless, it does kind of complete the package of this tablet. It does look nice. Here we put it together. I mean, it does give you that nice, sleek, portable laptop type look, still keeping the whole device thin. Adds a little bit of weight, but the main benefit too to this kickstand is that built-in S Pen protection with that easy flap to get to your S Pen. I love this. I absolutely love this. This is probably the best feature, really, in my opinion, of the whole thing. I love this protection, and I love how when you have it down like this, it doesn't rock, so you artists or people that draw, or like myself, you're taking notes. You're not going to get any wobbling or anything like that when you're drawing. All right, guys, this has been my take on the Samsung Galaxy Tab S8 Ultra book cover keyboard. As always, thanks for watching.